It's become all the rage in America's blue cities under the Biden administration, ransacking and robbing stores. In Sherman Oaks, California, a flash mob ransacked a Macy's department store in the middle of the day. And that's not all. Check out this video you're about to see of a Los Angeles Nordstrom's. There you have it, getting ransacked, and officials say they got away with about $100,000 worth of merchandise. Now the Los Angeles Police Department is trying to do something about it. They created a task force with the sole purpose of combating retail crime, only in America. Let's welcome in retired NYPD Lieutenant John McCarry. He's also the host of New York's finest Retired and Unfiltered podcast. Let's also bring in Bishop Counsel Nedd II, co-chairman of Project 21. Gentlemen, welcome to Sunday Agenda.
Thank you for having us.
Good morning.
So Bishop, let's start off with you. Tell us about the crime wave in Philadelphia, okay? You're there, videos, they've been flooding social media. You see the people walking around high on drugs like they're zombies, the Walking Dead. And I also heard that you yourself were involved in a flash mob, and you were in fact stabbed by a shoplifter. Tell us about it.
Well, so I'm also, in addition to being a bishop, I'm also a law enforcement officer. And I've done a lot of work in retail establishments, side jobs, as we call them, up here, in retail establishments. And I had arrested a shoplifter. Had him detained, had him cuffed. He broke free of his cuffs and ended up stabbing me with an X-Acto knife. But, you know, it's funny to hear this because anybody knows how to cook the books on crime stats. All you have to do is stop for enforcing crime. Eventually, people will start calling in, and then they'll say, oh, look, crime's gone down all of a sudden. The problem is, if the crime numbers are going down, why do people still not feel safe to go outside of their house? Why do they still feel not safe to go get on a city bus or go to the shopping mall or go to the movie theater? Anybody can say crime is down. I know how to cook those books. But the problem is people are afraid to go outside. People are afraid to go on with their lives and do the things they would normally want to do. And we've gotten in this horrible situation, and it's up to the politicians to get us out.
John, I mean, you don't hear about other countries having to deal with flash mob robberies like we're seeing here. Only in Biden's America would this behavior be allowed and treated as a misdemeanor. And then on the streets here of New York City, I've never seen so many drugged out people, literally with needles in their arms. And the cops are told they can't do anything about it. So they've effectively, the Democrat leaders have put the handcuffs on the police versus the criminals.
Absolutely. Progressives in our blue cities have created a criminal-first society. They're putting victims last. Victims are nowhere to be found in any of this legislation, in any of the policy. And again, they're putting the onus on the police, right? The LA is going to create a task force. But what is that going to do when we have DAs that are letting these people walk out the door? It's time that not only that citizens start speaking up against these elected officials who are creating this criminal-first society, but also hold police managers that are appointed by these progressive elected accountable and have them on the pulpit answering questions and saying, why is this continuing to happen? Why are we creating task force and all this other things? We have laws existing on the books that aren't being utilized. We need to get back to proactive enforcement where the DA is on board. The arrest is just the first part of solving crime. It goes a lot further than that.
And the way they got New York City under control back in 1994 when Rudy Giuliani became mayor, he instituted that broken windows policy where they prosecute those lower level crimes to prevent the higher level, more dangerous ones. We have about 2 minutes left, so I want a minute for each of you. I'll ask you both, and I'll start off with you, Bishop. It's mostly young people that are committing these crimes. What's going on?
It is mostly young people, and as I saw firsthand and still do see firsthand in Philadelphia, it's a lot of young people operating with impunity. They know they're not going to get caught. Even if they do get caught, it's going to be catch and release, literally without even any processing. The cops just send them on their way. It's not sustainable, and something has to be done.
And John, what do you think? What's going on with our kids today?
We're growing criminals under these policies, 100%. We're growing them because we're not holding children accountable for their action. We're not holding adults accountable for their action. When they go back into their neighborhoods and speak amongst the youth, nothing happened to me. I spent 4 hours in jail and the case got dropped. When they go back into their neighborhood, talk to youth, youth are unafraid. They're being held unaccountable. We're growing criminals. It needs to stop.
Absolutely. The gangs are using kids as gun mules because they know that if they're charged with an illegal weapon, they'll just be prosecuted in family court because of the raise the age, the legislation that's been changed. John McCurry, Bishop Counsel Nedd II, thank you both for joining us.
Thank you, Lydia.
Thank you.